Today we commemorate something that is truly a great mystery. And I will freely admit to you that in my own theological reflection and learning, I don't understand it as well as I would like. The Immaculate Conception of Mary of Nazareth. That is, the fact that she herself never had to share in what we all had to endure. That is, original sin, or being born into a state of separation, a state of alienation from God. At no point in Mary's existence did she know that. We will use very technical theological language in the Mass today. It was in the prayers, it will be in the preface. Things like prevenient grace of God and so on. But in my own need to wrap my head around this great mystery in some way, here's where I'm at this year. In Adam and Eve, God gave the human race its initial boot up, if you will. And in Jesus of Nazareth and his mother, he gave humanity a reboot. There was a first act of creation, and then there was an act of recreation. All of us, in some way, are descended from our very first parents, as the scriptures would use the term, according to the flesh. Now, don't read into that all kinds of technicalities about genetics and so on, but understand it broadly as we have earthly origins in the first human beings that God created. We also, by virtue of God's grace, have roots in his recreation of the human race. Thanks to Jesus, thanks to his mother, the door lies open for us now to become everything that God always wanted human beings to be. And what we see in the comparison and in the contrast between Adam and Eve and Jesus and Mary is that God, for whatever reason, has given an extraordinary privilege to the human race. That is, we, apart from all of the rest of his creation, have the ability either to hold him at arm's length, to tell him no, to compete with him, to rebel against him, as well as the ability to say yes to him, to open ourselves to him, to receive him into ourselves, his very creatures, to be fed by his very life, to cooperate with him as co-creators in the ongoing work of creation. We human beings stand in this very unique position. Our first parents made a choice to say the no. Our new mother made the choice to say yes. And as we commemorate this great mystery that she got to enjoy, this sort of original state of being a total blank slate. She wasn't prejudiced one way or the other. She was totally and completely free, freer than any of us have ever known. And in that yes, we can be reminded that day in and day out, the same choice is before us. We might not be as free as Mary in what we will answer, but we do have freedom. So what will we do with it? Will we listen to the serpent in the garden, telling us that God's directions for our lives are about his jealousy or his desire to compete with us or his desire to keep us from growing? Or will we listen to Mary of Nazareth, a humble girl who said very simply, "Let it be done to me according to your word." Peace be with all of you this evening, and with all who love the Lord in simplicity of heart.